Is America about to sink? Seeing India in its camp, China gives a big signal by selling its treasure. Just imagine, it's the middle of the night. Amid the glittering towers of Wall Street, silence prevails, when suddenly news spreads that the US government is struggling to pay interest on its own debt. The dollar, once considered the safest currency in the world, has begun to wobble. Panic breaks out among investors. Some are selling their shares, some are rushing to buy gold, others are fleeing toward the euro. And in the middle of this chaos, one country is quietly smiling, China. Because China had already sensed this danger and taken its steps accordingly. It had begun selling off that American treasure, US Treasury bonds, that were once considered the safest investment in the world. This was not an ordinary economic decision, but a deep political message as well. America's supremacy is no longer as strong as it once was. Today, we will dive deep into this very subject. But before that, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you're always the first to get updates on our latest videos. So, let's begin today's discussion without any further delay. Let me tell you, today America is burdened with $35 to $36 trillion in debt. This figure may sound massive, but the reality is even more terrifying. Think about it. If a person earns 10 lakh rupees a year but has a debt of 15 lakh rupees, how difficult his life would become. A large portion of his income would go only toward paying interest. This is exactly the situation America is facing today. Its annual GDP is about $27 trillion, but the debt is even higher. In other words, the entire country is living like a landlord who has built a palace but, after paying interest every month, doesn't have enough money left even to eat. It's important to understand what US treasuries are. These are essentially government bonds. When a country or investor buys a US treasury, it means they are lending money to America. In return, the US government promises to pay back the principal and interest at a fixed time. For a long time, these bonds were considered the safest in the world. Everyone believed that if there was one country that would never default, it was the United States. But now, that trust is breaking. China fears that if America fails to repay its debt, it will be the first to suffer. Why? Because the US sees China as its enemy. In such a situation, if the American government ever declares that it has no money, China's investment would sink first. That's why China is now gradually pulling its money back. In May, its holdings fell to $756 billion, the lowest since 2009. This is far below the time when China held $1.3 trillion worth of US treasuries. But this crisis did not emerge overnight. Its roots go back decades. America has always built its dreams and power on borrowed money. During the Vietnam War, it borrowed billions of dollars. It did the same in the Gulf War and in the invasion of Afghanistan. Even after the 2008 financial crisis, the US government rolled out trillion-dollar bailout packages to save its banks. That money too came from massive borrowing. And the biggest investor in all of this was China. For a long time, China kept lending to America because the dollar was seen as the safest currency. But now China feels that this safety is nothing more than an illusion. American economist Richard Wolff has even said that China has taken the right step. According to him, when someone keeps borrowing from you again and again, you start to worry that they may eventually collapse. This is exactly the situation America is in today. History shows that such a high level of debt in America was seen only during times of war. During World War II, the US borrowed heavily, but that debt was cleared after the war, and America got back on track. But today's situation is something the world has never seen during peacetime, and it is clearly unsustainable. Even the credit rating agencies have recognized America's decline. Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch all have downgraded America's rating from AA to lower levels. This sends a clear signal to investors. America is no longer as reliable as it once was. If tomorrow other countries also start selling US bonds like China, the American government will be in the same position as a shopkeeper who buys goods on credit every day. Until one day the supplier says, no more credit. In such a scenario, the US government would be forced to raise interest rates. And once interest rates rise, the life of an average American citizen will be directly affected. Car EMIs will become costlier, paying off home loans will become more difficult, and education and healthcare will get even more expensive. In short, the budget of American families will completely collapse. Richard Wolff believes that if the situation worsens, the US government will have to make massive cuts in its spending. And the first blow will fall on programs like Social Security. This would mean no pensions for the elderly, no medical benefits for the poor, and the middle class would lose its safety net. Just imagine, the same country that preaches democracy and capitalism to the entire world won't even be able to provide security to its own citizens in old age. This is where India's role becomes crucial. India today is the fastest growing major economy in the world. Its population of 1.4 billion, rapidly expanding middle class, and strong technology sector are making it a new global force. Recently, relations between the US and India have soared because of tariff wars, visa disputes, and differing stances on the Russia-Ukraine war. In this situation, China sees an opportunity to pull India into its camp. On platforms like BRICS and the Global South, China repeatedly tries to give India equal standing. China knows that if India stands by its side, America will suffer its greatest setback. India, too, understands that it now holds real power. If it chooses, it can benefit from both America and China. But for India, this decision is not easy. America is its biggest defense and technology partner. At the same time, China is its largest neighbor and its biggest rival. India will have to take every step with great caution. On one side lies America's sinking economy, and on the other side, China's cunning strategies. And in between stands India, envisioning itself as a new global power.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.